Race number 5 at Ascot. It's the listed event. It's the Sweps Grandstand Cup over the 1,500 metres. 9 runners to take a look at and mark. There's one horse that we just have to, I think, really commend the trainer for bringing this horse back to its best. And we're speaking of Mambuka because it was well and truly gone.
Yeah, an enormous training performance from Dan Morton, but patience just personified there. Dan Morton taking his time with his galloper and now hasn't put a foot wrong this preparation. Let's go to the Bunbury Stakes last start. 7 of the runners in these field feature, so keep your eye out.
Great shot the outside, they've come together, they're eyeballing each other, 2 lengths behind them, Dream Lifter pushing into the clear, here comes Mambuka. Mambuka down the outside to Great Shot, they beat off coming back. Jerry Noski said go on Mambuka. You don't think the girls are racing, have reared up out of their seats in the grandstand. Mambuka's pulled away from Great Shot, Dream Lifter, and another one for Mambuka.
Great performance there by Mambuka. I love the call of Darren McCauley as well. Very excited. 23 lady owners in Mambuka with Jerry Noski on board as well. You couldn't ask for much more. Now, look, Mambuka's going to open up short and it's probably going to be the one to beat again because there is not much speed in this race. So you could see it probably even leading with Great Shot sitting outside or Great Shot crossing and then it sitting just behind it as well. It's going to be in the first 3 and running. There's no doubt about that at all with this field. But it does give a fair bit of weight. 1.5 kilos to Great Shot, 2 kilos to Red Aura, 2.5 kilos to horses like Young Lionel as well. So with 59 kilos for the 4-year-old up against some classy types, this is its biggest test.
Now let's talk about our on-top selections though, because we've both gone against Mambuka here. Of course, the WA Guineas winner from 2015. Look, he's in great form. He just gives some weight around to a couple of handy ones. Number 2, Great Shot. I think can see it leading on a day with Easterleys. It could be his day. He's a very tough horse out in front, and we saw a couple of starts ago in the Cyril Flower. Just looked gone at about the 200, then kicked again. I think he'll be fit enough, and with the weight swing, he can play a part here and could win. Could
easily have this horse on top, there's no doubt about that. Gets 3 kilos for 2.5 length defeat back in the Pinjarra Classic and then gets 1.5 for the 1.5 length defeat in the Bunbury Stakes and didn't have the race runners that would have liked with coming back going forward on that occasion. As we said, when you take a look at this race, there's no speed in it. Great Shot can lead easily and comfortably. As I said, I would suggest that Mambuka will sit behind him so they can cruise out in front, dictate terms with those easterly breezes as well. Won't have to do too much. As I said, no doubt that this horse can win.
And number 3 there, Red Aura as well from the Dan Morton stable. Again, Chris Parnham rides, but again, Dan Morton's got this horse back after having a lean time of it last year at Belmont, but he hasn't put a foot wrong this preparation.
No, exactly right. And if you want to speak about weight swings with Great Shot, then you get a few here with Red Aura. He gets the 2 kilos on Mambuka for 2.5. Go back to the listed Flower Stakes and he gets 3 kilos on Great Shot for 1.3 lengths. So a nice weight swing there and in the small field. I think this horse has just needed a little bit of luck and will be able to get out and run on strongly. So I'm going to go with 3 Red Aura from 2 Great Shot, 1 Mambuka and 5 Young Lionel.
Number 2 on top for me, Great Shot from 1 Mambuka. Number 9, North Ridge, and 3 Red Aura.
Race number 6 at Ascot. It's a 1,000 metre event, a 72 plus, and there's some classy ones in this, Mark.
There certainly is, and one that's been matching it with the better horses is the 7-year-old Marchand. Let's have a look at it. Last week running second behind Universal Moon.
Frey getting up towards the inside, but these leaders have kicked away. Marchand, Universal Moon, they're going toe for toe at the 200. Universal Moon and Marchand on the outside, about 2 lengths behind those, then starting to run on Kiwanza. Universal Moon is able to shake off Marchand and is too good for them. It drew clear late in the race.
Nice performance again by Marchand. Hasn't done much wrong. You go through the form lines around horses like 3 Vote Seeker and Universal Moon, and they have to be respected. In each of those races, it's just had a horse either beside it, to just outside it, put behind it, trying to put a bit of pressure on it throughout, and it hasn't been able to relax. When I look at this race, I don't see a lot of speed. With a 3 kilo claim from barrier 10, I think they can cross with that 55.5, get into a nice position. I like them back at 1,000, and I can tell you $10 plus for this horse is ridiculous overs.
Yeah, the other key form line comes from American Star, and a few runners in this come from that race as well, but his win last start when sitting off speed was excellent. They'll do the same again here from barrier 11, so no concern the wide gate.
No concern at all, and no concern with the pattern. But for mine, the biggest thing is the weights. Woolabar gets 4 kilos for a long neck. A horse like Mighty Blonde gets 3.5 kilos for a long head, and Brackets gets 2.5 kilos for 1.5 lengths. So American Star is going to have to go to another level again if it's going to be able to hold off at those weight swings as well. So for mine, I just prefer others in the race.
Adam, your selections for this one?
I'll be going with number 2 Marchand, the each way odds from number 8 Woolabar, number 7 Sweet Aura, and 10 Brackets.
I've got the 2 on top here as well. Marchand from the 5 Mighty Blonde, 7 Sweet Aura, and 9 American Star.
Race number 7 at Ascot, it is the big one. It's the Group 3 WA Oaks over the 2,400 metres, an event for the WA fillies. And Mark, it's probably a race between two, but if you're a punter, it almost seems as though it's a race between one.
Yeah, I think so. Royal Star looks mighty hard to beat. Let's go and have a look at the replay of the listed Natasha Stakes.
Through traffic, Royal Star though, in front, length and a half to 2 clear now as he lets it down at the 200. She put up a nice break, Just Like Fire runs on, but Royal Star's accelerating from Just Like Fire. Vane Striker along the rails. Gee, this has been a great performance all the way. Royal Star, she certainly showed a class there.
An amazing performance here by Royal Star. They didn't want to lead, but found themselves in that position because of how well she jumped. They dictated terms, and then she still had the audacity to kick at the top of the straight after missing a run. She is only going to be better for that performance. In a field like this, I just don't know how they're going to bridge the gap with her, gaining that fitness, that experience, and the confidence as well. I can understand why she's going to open up probably under $1.50.
Yeah, I think she'll do the same thing again as well, lead all the way. Number 3, Vane Striker, was second in the replay you just saw and was good. I can't understand the price she's opened up. I think she's a great place, but at around $2.50.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like they're just giving this horse a bit of lack of respect because it was a surprise performance, but it had plenty of merit, the run as well. And I think, again, as we said, we're going to see a pretty similar run to what we saw last start, so it'll be attacking the line strongly.
You're on top selections for this one?
I'll be going with number 1, Royal Star. I was really impressed with number 5, Very Tempting, to turn of foot as well. It'll be a lot closer. From 2, Just Like Fire, and 3, Vane Striker.
Yes, I've got the one on top as well. Royal Star from number 3, Vane Striker. 5, Very Tempting, and 2, Just Like Fire.
Race number 8 at Ascot, it is the Group 2 Karrakatta Plate, the race we've all been waiting for, the 1,200 metre event, of course, sponsored by Amelia Park. Mark, going through this race, there are so many horses that can win.
Yes, I love this race. It's one of my favourite races on the calendar, the 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres, and as you mentioned, a race full of chances. The replay we're going to have a look at, though, is the Group 3 Gimcrack Stakes, won by Kiss Bang Love.
Rail at the top of the home straight. We'll see how good she is at the moment. On the outside, Lucy May coming out after Resistance. A length and a half to 2 lengths, Summer's Dream. Annie is coming with a wet sail from further back in the field with a mighty run, but it might be too late for her. Kiss Bang Love on the outside, raged up very quickly. Sent to the lead by Pike. Kiss Bang Love's home. Kiss Bang Love has won it.
Nice performance there by Kiss Bang Love. We heard from William Pike going into that race that if he could just settle into a nice position, he was confident that she did have the turn of foot to be able to win the race. Of course, Siani was right out the back, couldn't make up the difference and was able to win. But from a wide draw here, William Pike is going to have to work his magic.
Yes, take nothing away from the effort last start, though. Everybody was looking at Siani on that occasion, but the filly there was 3 wide with a little bit of cover, so she had to do it the tough way, and in the latter stages was holding Siani as well, so plenty of merit in the effort there. We'll have a look at the boys' form now, the listed Perth Stakes. Whacked out won that at a massive price of about $48 on the tote. This well-bred colt, look, for me, I've got him on top. He's got the fastest registered time over 1,100 metres for the 2-year-olds this season, and he's only had 2 starts, so there's improvement to come.
That's the biggest thing here, is that there is definitely improvement for Whacked Out from barrier 9. Should be able to cross and actually lead this field as well, which is another bonus. I don't think there has to be any concern about the 1,200 metres. The small thing for mine and the concerns and why I'm going elsewhere is a horse like Rias gets the blinkers on, gets a 1.5 kilo swing, gets a perfect barrier, and is going to be able to camp off it. And then even a horse like Debelaccio, I mean, was 3 and 4 wide the entire trip, and Whacked Out wasn't really pulling away with still knowing now that you have to go up to the 1,200 metres. No doubt at all that Whacked Out can win this with that improvement as well, but I do prefer Rias and Debelaccio if you're comparing the 3.
One thing I will say, if you go and have a look at the Perth Stakes replay, which you should, have a look at him past the line, because he was still coasting and holding the other horses, which I really, really like to see. But the speed is drawn outside of him as well, Adam. You've got the likes of Akanar Star, Al Delar, Lucy May, all the other speeds drawn outside of him, so he should get to the fence. We've also got in the race, number 3 there, Rias, you mentioned, the blinkers go on. He's been up for a little while though, this guy.
Yeah, he has, but he's just a forgotten horse and just appears to get no respect. $10 plus at the moment for a horse, beaten 0.8 lengths, attacking the line the best in the Perth Stakes. Blinkers on, 1.5 kilo swing. So much to like about this galloper. I think it's going to get the dream run in the race, but the horse that we all know they have to beat, I guess, is Siani.
Yeah, Siani, gee, she was good and running on last start at the Gimcrack Stakes and so dominant in the Supremacy after missing the start by 3 lengths. She's a very, very live chance, but at the price, I'm willing to play around her. Adam, what are your selections?
I'm going to go with number 3, Rias on top. From 6, Debelaccio. Look, I think number 12, Siani, is the best horse in the race, but I've got concerns with the way that she starts and been curled up in barrier 2. And then number 2, Akanar Star.
I've got the 4 on top here, Whacked Out. As I mentioned, I think he's the fastest with a little bit more improvement to come. 6, Debelaccio. draws very well, should be there in the finish. 12, Annie, can't leave her out. And number 11, Lucy May.
Final race of the day at Ascot. It is an event over the 1400 metres, the 62 plus. And Mark, as we see very often when these 62 plus races occur, you see form lines from absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, we do. There's a 3-year-old form line as well, which we should take a look at. Storm Dancer winning impressively last start over 1600 metres.
She was caught flat-footed, then 2 lengths bold success. Storm Dancer now to the outside, starting its run. Swift Sifts near the rail, inside the 200. Wrinkley the leader. Here's Storm Dancer closing the margin though. Storm Dancer quickly dashed up to Wrinkley, hit the front and is coming away from them. Storm Dancer too good. Drew Clear won at 2 lengths. Second Wrinkley.
Nice performance by Storm Dancer. Had been knocking on the door for a while. They threw out the plan of possibly going to the WATC Derby, but clearly they felt like they're too far behind. Look, I'm not a massive fan of them dropping back to the 1400 metres, but when looking at the speed map, the way that this race is going to play out, that all the speed is so wide and they have to do the work, I think from barrier 2, this horse is going to get the perfect run, can sit a little bit closer, and then I just think it's going to have too good of a turn of foot for him. I think it'll be winning the race.
I had the same thoughts of you back to 1400 metres though, but speaking to John Lugg on Thursday morning at Track Week, he said the horse wasn't prepared for a Derby preparation, which is why they've decided to come back in distance, take on the older horses. This race looks ideal. The Derby turnaround after its last start win was just too quick, so look, all trust in John Lugg, a very, very good trainer, and he's got a very nice horse here, and as you mentioned, it just looks to map out really nicely for the galloper. We've also got in the race number 5 there, Juwendis, gelding by Demerit. Of course, Jim Taylor trained another Demerit to victory on Wednesday with Get the Vibe. I think Juwendis can run a nice race.
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance last start. Looks it actually meets Presentatai worse in the weights for losing to it, but it was 3 wide the trip. I think the extra distance here is also going to be an advantage, and if they can just slot in and get a much comfier run, I think this horse can attack the line and win the race.
In an open race, Adam, who have you got on top?
I've got number 8 Storm Dancer on top from 5 Juwendis, number 3 Presentatai and 6 Main Instigator.
I've got the 8 on top as well, our replay horse Storm Dancer from number 14 Elegant Blast. The first up run in the Breeders' Stakes there at Bunbury was good. Improvement to come. 3 Presentatai and 5 Juwendis.
Time now to take a look at the best bets for the day, and Mark, I'm trusting in the Cerise and White here. I've got race 3, number 2, Royal Supreme, and race 7, number 1, Royal Star.
As am I, Adam. Race 2, number 5, Glimmer Girl. Really nice each way odds about her as well. And race 7, number 1, Royal Star. Very, very hard to beat in the WA Oaks.
As we always do say, you can follow us on social media. You can see that on screen at the moment. PerthRacing.com.au for all of the event information. On behalf of both of us, hopefully found you plenty of winners.